What if I told you that Professor X was never the moral opposite of Magneto, but a different kind of tyrant? Not one who ruled through fear, but one who ruled through silence. In Marvel Comics, some of the most dangerous decisions in mutant history were made by the man everyone trusted the most. And every time, he reached the same conclusion. Freedom was not enough. Because in his mind, if mutants were allowed to choose for themselves, they would inevitably choose a path that would lead to their destruction. And in that moment, fear of the future turned into the right to decide for others. Professor X is remembered as a dreamer, a peaceful mentor who believed mutants and humans could coexist. He built a school. He gave young mutants safety, education, and purpose. Unlike Magneto, Xavier rejected war. He believed restraint was strength, and because of that, no one ever questioned him. But trust is power, and absolute trust is dangerous, because when people stop questioning you, your decisions stop being challenged. And that's when Professor X crossed the line from leader to controller. That line was crossed when Xavier faced Magneto. Instead of restraining him, instead of stopping him, Professor X violently shut down Magneto's mind. This wasn't defense, this was mental annihilation. And that act helped create Onslaught, one of the most destructive psychic entities in Marvel history. Xavier won the moment, but nearly destroyed the world. And this wasn't an isolated mistake. In Deadly Genesis, we learn Xavier sent a secret team of mutants on a mission. They failed, they died. Instead of telling the truth, Professor X erased the memories of Cyclops and the X-Men. He decided they didn't deserve to remember his failure. This reveals Xavier's true belief. He didn't see himself as a tyrant, he saw himself as necessary. He believed that some truths were too dangerous, that some minds needed guidance. Magneto ruled through force, Xavier ruled through silence, and silence is harder to resist. Even the Danger Room exposes this mindset. When it became sentient, Xavier already knew, and yet he continued to use it, a living mind reduced to a training tool. Because in Xavier's world, purpose always outweighed consent. To be clear, Professor X is not a villain. He didn't seek domination, he feared chaos. But fear combined with power always leads to control, and control, no matter how gentle, is still control. Professor X's story is a warning. The most dangerous leaders are not the loudest, they're the ones who believe they're always right. So who was Professor X? The protector of the X-Men, or their quiet dictator?
When we ask that question, we usually look for a simple answer: hero or tyrant. But Professor X is dangerous because he fits into neither. He exists somewhere in between. History shows us the same pattern. The most destructive decisions are rarely made out of hatred. They're made out of fear, out of care, out of the desire to protect. And Xavier is the perfect example of how good intentions become justification for control. Xavier didn't just train mutants, he shaped how they saw the world. He taught them what a good mutant should be, when to act, when to restrain themselves, when to stay silent. And that is the quietest form of power. Every time Xavier failed, he made the same choice: hide the truth, not discuss it, not share responsibility, but carry the burden alone and erase the consequences from other people's minds. A villain knows they're doing something wrong. Xavier didn't. He truly believed that if the truth caused pain, people weren't ready to hear it. And that belief is what makes him dangerous. Magneto never pretended. He never hid the world he wanted to build through force. He was honest about his brutality, and because of that, people feared him but understood him. Xavier inspired trust. When you trust someone completely, you stop questioning their decisions. You stop doubting, and that's how a mentor slowly becomes the center of power. Every system of control eventually breaks, because people don't want to be perfect, they want to be free. And that's where Xavier's philosophy collides with reality. Let's be honest, Xavier didn't seek power for its own sake. He didn't crave obedience. He wanted to prevent catastrophe. But wanting to prevent evil doesn't grant the right to take away choice. Xavier's tragedy isn't that he made mistakes, it's that he didn't allow others to make their own. He didn't believe mutants could survive without his guidance. Every time he intervened, the world became more complicated, not safer, and every time the cost of intervention grew higher. The mutant story isn't just about superpowers, it's about control, fear, responsibility, and Xavier stands at the center of it. Maybe the real conflict was never between Xavier and Magneto. Maybe it was always between safety and freedom. And every time someone says, "I know what's best," we should ask one thing: what happens if they're wrong?